about this love. About this about this love. About this love. Love. How you guys doing today? You're tuning into About This Love podcast with myself, Dale, and my wife, Charel. Say what's up, what's up?
Say what's up, like that, or what's up, peoples?
However you want to say it.
Oh.
Thank you all for tuning in. Check the analytics. We see that people listen to our podcast from Alaska, Canada, South Africa, and even in America. So it's definitely encouraging. When you're putting out body of work or, being artistic and sharing your life with people, you really don't know if people really
will receive
listen to it, especially when your social media is dry. Like,
wait, whose social media is dry?
Well, whoever listens to our podcast, y'all don't really comment too much on our social media. We need some reviews from y'all, on some of these podcasts or websites. Leave us some reviews so we know, how we're doing. We know we're doing good, but just definitely try to engage with us more on social media if you can. As always, you already know you can follow us on Facebook and IG. Those are the only two places that you can follow us. And
at About This Love.
Yeah, About This Love on YouTube, and you can find our podcast basically anywhere where you can find podcasts. It's funny because I didn't even know we're on an app called the podcast app. I had no idea what that even was. Somebody was like, "Yeah, I saw your podcast on the podcast app." I'm like, "What? What is the podcast app?" And they seem like a little thing. So yeah, we're on the podcast app too, whatever the app is. Yeah, we on there too.
Wait, they sent you a thing? Like they sent you a friend request on the podcast app?
Somebody sent you a screenshot of
okay.
your podcast. Yeah. So.
Oh yeah, you showed me that. Okay, I was like, wait, what's a thing?
Yeah. So thank you guys for always, supporting us and tuning into us. And today's topic is ding, 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 ding. What is it, Cheryl? Go ahead.
How to get $1,000 today.
Nah, I wish.
Oh, man. I'm sorry. I just wanted to switch it up a little bit. But no. So as you know, if you've been following like the last couple of episodes, we have been really getting into the reasons why your relationships hadn't been lasting. And so far we've talked about foundation, motives, intentionality. And so today we're going to get more into commitment. We skimmed on it a little bit in last week's episode. And so we're going to get more into what a commitment is this week and what does that look like and things like that. And how do you know that you're in a commitment or in a committed relationship?
Are you going to define? Are you going to look at the word commitment?
Okay, I can define it. I can define. Well, how do you define commitment, Dale? Is it a ring? Do you define it by a ring or?
First of all, there has to be commitment before the ring even is in
play.
Is in discussion. You know what I'm saying? Like, because if there's no commitment before the ring, there ain't gonna be no commitment when the ring comes. So for me, I feel like commitment is, I'll say, a verbal and heart to heart acknowledgement that, hey, I'm with you. You are the only person that I want to be with. And I want to grow and spend life with you. I think that's where it has to start. It starts first, in the heart, and then you verbally telling the person, just whatever it is you want from him or her, and that's how it starts. It kind of reminds me of the scripture about salvation. It says, "Confess with your mouth and believe in your heart." So any kind of commitment, even commitment to the Lord, Jesus Christ, and to God the Father and the Holy Spirit, even commitment to them first starts with, hey, you acknowledge it verbally. Hey, Lord, I want you to be my Savior. Teach me to live by your statutes and standards, and I also believe in my heart that you are the Lord of Lords and the King of Kings. Any kind of commitment first starts in the heart, and then there's a verbal transaction of you proclaiming it. Is what I think. But I could be wrong, you know what I'm saying?
So the definition of commitment is the state, or it's a noun, and it's the state or quality of being dedicated to a cause, activity, etc. The second definition is an engagement or obligation that restricts freedom of action. And I guess that's compared to like business commitments.
Faith, I mean religion as well. Muslims can't eat pork. People who believe in Christ are commanded not to fornicate, not to jump in and out of everybody's bed nude. Not to be overtaken with drunkenness, not to be overtaken with wrath. I don't want to say it kind of restricts, because I think sometimes people can see commitment as a form of restriction, but I see it as a form of liberation and freedom. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, it's funny you say that, because when I was reading the definition, I was like, it doesn't really restrict freedom. But then you also have to think about how you view freedom, because, I feel like the Lord, no, listen.
Nah, I
I
was thinking
feel,
about something.
what were you thinking about?
When you get married, people say, "Hey, the ball and chain.
The ball and
You
chain.
locked down, brother."
No, I mean, but and I think that's why some people are afraid to even give their word to say that that they even want to marry, or they even want to be with one person, because it's that idea of a ball and chain. Like I was starting to say before you bringing up the ball and chain. Is that how you feel, Dale? Like a ball and
I
chain?
mean, I really thought about it, to be honest.
Oh, okay. I just want to know. I want to know what you think here on the spot right now while everyone's listening.
I don't think.
Oh, God.
I think about God and Jesus
Yeah, okay.
and these kids
Man, right?
and the dog.
Yeah, all the responsibilities. Well, okay. I mean, it's your perspective, but what I was thinking about was just how we were freed from our sin when Jesus died on the cross, right? No, we were forgiven.
I mean, you're free if you accept it. You're free to forgiven. If you don't accept it, then you're not free. You're not forgiven, and you're not freed.
No, so exactly, but it goes back to mindset. And so if your mindset is, okay, if I give my commitment to this person, if I give my word, if I give my promise to this person, then I'm locked down. I can't sleep around. I can't I can't. I mean, people know that they would have to give up something in order to gain, but they don't feel as though what they're gaining is much greater than what they're giving up. And so I think that's why people maybe run away from commitment.
Mm-hmm.
That's why people like don't even bring it up, or people, if someone's bringing up commitment, or even being in a committed like dating relationship, like, hey, are you just with me? It's like, well, if I'm just with you, I don't want to give up possibly dating like this, this bad chick over here, and and I don't want to have to give up hanging out with the boys, and I don't want to have to give up. You're thinking about the things that you give up, and that weighs more in your mind and in your heart. That weighs more than building a life with one person.
I mean, it's funny because I was listening to a video the other night by KRS-One, and he was talking. I think he was on like Vlad TV. He was talking about hip hop and just how it's become a boys' game. And one of the things, and I don't really know what other religion or faith he subscribes to, but I know it ain't it ain't the faith in Christ. It ain't faith in Yeshua. One of the things that he said that I did agree with, he talked about how as a man, he talks about how hip hop is full of boys. He was like, hip hop is full of boys. He was like, and little girls. He was like, men have a heart to lead and to accept responsibility and to lead the next generation into a place of promise or a place of greatness. He says little boys and little girls only want, money, jewelry, cars, clothes, big old booty, or the, for women, big old abs, or do with but men and women, grown men and grown women, their mentality actually is to build. They are living their life to prepare the next generation. So I say that when it comes to commitment and being in a relationship, people who want to be in relationships are people who are actually looking to build. Grown adults, grown men and women. Relationships are not for little boys and little girls. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure there are little girls and little boys in relationships, and by that I'm referring to a mentality, not an age, but a mentality. Because you can be 45 years old and be a little boy, you know what I'm saying?
I was just thinking,
or be a little girl.
too.
It's a mentality that you have. Like me and my wife, we were having the conversation about like how people are comfortable with having less when they're in a position to actually have more. It's like, but that's again, people don't have the desire to build. They don't have a desire for more. So when you talk to me about commitment, like to me, since I've been married, financially, I feel like financially, freedom. I feel like we actually have more, because like when you married and you got a spouse, you can go work another job or go do a little side hustle, whether it's you selling stuff and not to worry about a babysitter. But when you single, who gonna watch the kids? It's like, to me, that's like you're not free. You're not really free if you're a single parent, because you got to find somebody to help out, whatever. So I feel like with me, marriage, in a relationship, it's a level of freedom that comes with it because you're actually able to be and do more because there's somebody else, helping you and pushing you to greater heights and greater depths, in my opinion. So, for me, commitment, I feel like a commitment, it's a good thing, it's a good thing.
You know what I was thinking when you were saying that, I think it kind of goes back to like the motivation. Like if you want to be married just for the built-in babysitter or just for the combined finances, I don't think that it would work out. And
I mean, it will. It does work out. It will and it does.
I'm saying if that's the only reason why you're
Oh.
marrying. Because I know you, I mean, aside from the fact that we married, but because I know your heart, I understand what you're saying. But the one thing that I was thinking about, like people who don't know us and who's listening to this podcast right now, is just that they may say that and once again, like take what you're saying or take what I'm saying out of context because they don't know the heart behind it. And so I just want to take time to explain the heart behind you having like someone to join finances with and someone who will, watch the kids while you work. And I mean, those things become the mundane. And I say that because when you are married, like the one thing I've learned about marriage is that there may be a time where you have to take a step back and take off of work for whatever reason, right? Or, there may be a time where you're making more of the money. Or there may be a time where you have to sit back and revisit conversations that you had established, things that you had established in the beginning because your situation has shifted. And it's almost like the bottom line of all of that is that because I'm building a life with you, I don't mind taking that pay cut. I don't mind not scheduling clients on this day, that day, because you are off this day, that day. And I don't mind being with you. I don't mind sitting with the kids so that you can take that extra job because we sat down and spoke about the goal that we had in mind was to buy a house or was to get out of debt or, was to help out some family members or, what I'm saying? Like all of that comes with the commitment. And so this is why a commitment is so important to relationships because you have to commit it hard. There's a few people that I know that's like, oh yeah, like I want to be married. I want to get with this person, that person or whatever. And, we going back and forth and they keep running out on me, blah, blah, blah. But they came back. So we all good. We back in love. And it's like, if y'all really get married, if y'all put it down on paper, and have the rings, that person is still not with you. I don't care if they sitting beside you. You've ever been around people on a bus? You're with them, but you're not with them,
You don't know them jokers?
You don't know them. Their heart isn't with you. If you was to like pass out right there on that bus,
No bull.
they'll get off and go to work.
They must start shooting and they probably use you as a human shield.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Push you out the way. Like, oh man, it was some years ago. This when TiVo first came out. And for y'all who don't know what TiVo is, that's, where we get the stop, pause, rewind from, right?
TiVo.
On live TV. Yeah, TiVo.
Oh, the little thing we got?
Yeah, but it was like the original TiVo where you got the DVR box and you can like get the remote to stop live TV and rewind it.
It's a little advanced for me.
That came out when I was like in middle school, man.
I never had cable. I can tell you that. I didn't have cable. We couldn't afford cable.
Okay, I'm sorry, Dale.
That was a privilege we'd have as kids.
Now he making me feel bad. He making me feel bad. Anyway, so it reminded me of this one Christmas we were down at my aunt's house, and so she had gotten the TiVo box, and so we were like, oh yeah, we're watching live TV. No, it's not Christmas. It was the day after Thanksgiving. It was Black Friday, right? And so everyone's trying to hustle and bustle to like get into Best Buy to get these TVs. Man, people push this old woman down, right? But
not funny.
No, listen. It gets better, Dale. They pushed this old woman
Jesus
down
Christ.
and trampled over her. So the cameraman zoomed in on her. Wait, Dale, let me get that. The cameraman zoomed in on her and watched her struggle to put her wig back on. It like, you know what I'm saying? Just stuff like that. Nobody stopped to help her up. The cameraman didn't like pan to the side. He was like, oh, this is some good footage. But that's how people are. You could be in the same house with a person and you fall down the steps and about broke yourself. And it's kind of like, let me get my phone out real quick. Cause look at this, look at this, look at this, look at what this person's doing, and post it online and never help that person up. I would hate to be in a marriage like that. I would hate to be in a relationship, have friends like that, because you're not building with them. That's not your friend. Now, there could be a time, I mean, if you okay, like, you okay? Oh, you good? I'ma laugh real quick. That was silly. How you do that? But I'ma help you up, and we're gonna keep it pushing. And if you need help, if you need me to serve you because you sore, if you need me to bandage your boo-boos, then I could do that. So that's what I think about. Like, I just feel as though those who are like trying to push people for that piece of paper that say that you got somebody's last name, you Mrs. Carter now, so can't nobody say nothing, and you flashing your ring or whatever, and it's like, this person don't give two squats about you, because if you was to get sick or hurt yourself, they're not doing nothing to take care of you right now. They're not even taking care of you right now. That's one thing I always check back in with, with the Lord, with my husband. Like, there's things that, Dale might do that get on my nerves or whatever, because we get on each other's nerves. I mean, I don't get on his nerves because, I'm just perfect. I just want to throw that out there for y'all. But I'm just kidding. But no. There's things that we do to get on each other's nerves or step on each other's toes or what have you, because we're living together, we're building together, we're growing together. However, I have to check back in with Dale, and I have to be like, you know what, you might, and I don't even say it like this. I don't be like, oh, you might get on my nerves, but I love you. I don't say it like that. I don't preface it with that. I check in with him and I be like, hey, you take care of me. You care for me. You care for these kids. You what I'm saying? Like, I see your sacrifice. I see you working hard. And, sometimes your spouse will need that check-in. And people without a commitment, people whose heart isn't in that relationship, they not checking in to, they're not going to check in and be like, you need anything? You good? And you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, I mean, she said she good because she got it. I mean, and I know that there's like independent women who are just like, look, I don't need you. So we should just be together because I don't need you like these other women. But it's like, what if you physically, something physically happened where you couldn't even take care of yourself?
Yeah.
There was a point in my life, and I'm sorry if I'm talking too much, Dale, but I just want to get this out, and then, we can go from there. There was a point in my life in early marriage where Dale broke his finger, right? And it was a lot of stuff going on, but he broke his finger a week before I had to get surgery. And so when I say, like, Dale still served me in the way that he could, he wanted to drive me home, and I'm just like, no, like, you got a cast.
Wait a minute, Akima was there.
Yes, our friend was there. She was there. However, like, you were so, I just remember that you were so eager to, like, get the car, like.
Sure, I mean, you're like, I was handicapped or something. Like, I can still.
You were.
Drive
oh my
and
God.
stuff, like.
Nah, this dude. Anyway, either way.
I got two hands. I only drive with one hand. I mean, you're like, I was like disabled or something, with a cane or something, yo. Good Lord.
Look,
yo.
I'm just trying to get the point across how you were hurting, you were in a rough spot, and you still was able to take care of me because your heart was towards me. People don't even have that.
Yeah. It actually kind of reminds me, because I was thinking about commitment, but in the aspect of like what can make someone lose commitment in a relationship. And I don't really want to get into that right now, but like sometimes, like, I've always like, it always kind of hits me hard or hits me the wrong way. Like when I find out that people are in relationships for like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years and not married, I'm like, man, like, what's going on? Because it's funny because usually, like, I ain't gonna lie, I'm that person that's gonna be like, that if I know you personally, I usually be like, look, man, it's been like 5, 10 years, man. I know you, and usually, like I said earlier in the podcast episode, is usually one person wants to get married more than the other one does, and there's usually a reason why. Like I remember a couple of years ago, somebody that me and my wife know, they were in a relationship with somebody. I would say, I'll say like 6, 7 years, on and off. And I remember just talking to the person and be like, look, man, it's not going nowhere. You know what I'm saying? It's not really going nowhere. I know you probably can't see that from the inside looking out, but from, my standpoint, and I begin to tell them reasons why I felt that way, and they probably didn't believe me, but I know the person and their significant other had been struggling, just like with whether or not they wanted to be married, So the significant other actually called me. And I told this person, I told a good friend of mine, I told them, I said, your significant other, she actually called me, and I told her the truth. You know what I'm saying? I told her the truth. And it wasn't a condemnation or judgment on either party. But what I did say is that well, look, here's how I see it from my perspective. I said both of you guys are well over 40 years old. You've been together, probably since your early 30s. You're not married yet for whatever reason. And truth be told, knowing what I know about the situation, you're not gonna be married. I said, so I don't see any reason why you guys are just wasting time. I would say go ahead and cut your losses. I said, because one of the things that you are doing is you're actually not trusting, at this point, you're actually not trusting the Lord. You're probably staying together out of fear that you can't find nobody else. And while that's, scary, it's also sad. And one of the things that I really begin to reveal to the person is that, in a lot of things in life, oftentimes what it actually reveals is our lack of trust in God. You know what I'm saying? And it's cool. I told him, I said, listen, if you don't trust God, that's cool. But just say that. Like, Lord, help me in my unbelief, Lord. Lord, I'm 40 something years old. I have a desire to be married, Lord. Help me with that, Lord. But clearly, this is not the person that that you are to marry. You know what I'm saying? And I spoke to the person, and but as I got off the phone with them, I thought about what are things that could have made them lose that commitment over the years, and and like I said, just different things that had occurred over the years makes people lose that commitment, and again, I understand, because if you were married, it's probably different. Maybe you would have sought counseling and A, B, C, and D, and I actually encouraged that over the years to seek counseling. And I even tell people now who are looking to get married, even those who are early on in their marriage, I said, man, get counseling. When things are going good, get counseling. We are always in counseling, even and right now, even when our marriage is good, which is right now, we still get counseling. Counseling it just isn't for the bad times of marriage. I often feel like if you get counseling throughout your marriage, when times are bad, you're able to actually navigate them a little bit more, and not hurt you guys as more if you guys were not getting counseling. So, when I think about commitment, I think about I just think about things that can make a person lose commitment over the years, and we can name a few things.
I was going to say, could you name a few things?
Mistrust.
That's
mistrust, betrayal. Again, those things are things that will happen in marriage. So it's like, I understand. Like it's funny because earlier, because you said you had said to me that you believe that there are no deal breakers in marriage or whatever. And I was like, that depends. I said it depends because what if somebody has a child outside of marriage? I mean, you might be like, yo, I'm done, Joe. I'm packing up my bags. I'm gone. So I just think it just depends on the individual. So it really just depends on the individual and the circumstances. But when it comes to commitment, I think that just really having the heart to endure, really just a basic foundation of commitment is having the heart to endure. Because if you don't have the heart to endure, I mean, somebody can piss you off. You're like, I'm gone. You know what I'm saying? It's like something small. So I just think that a part of commitment is having the heart to endure, and just understanding that you want to be with that person, and you guys have a commitment to build for the future of your families, or if it comes to marriage.
Well, I mean, if you get to the point where you're talking about commitment, like what are you committing to anyways? Because you said if it comes to marriage, but it's just like, what are you committing to? Like, I think that when people become like boyfriend and girlfriend, do they believe in their heart that, yeah, we're going to be boyfriend and girlfriend for like 4 or 5 years or whatever until,
yes or no?
Okay. I mean, I just think about that because it's almost like, what exactly are you doing? And if you don't establish those lines in the beginning or when the conversation comes up, like, where's this going? There's plenty of like movies and plenty of people who talk about not wanting to be in a relationship and not wanting to, not wanting to be married, but yet they want to, be boyfriend and girlfriend. And it's almost like, yeah, but And you might want that in the beginning. I remember, and I know this is like a sidebar conversation, so to speak, within the podcast, but I remember a time where I was watching this YouTuber. This is before YouTube family vlogging was like big. This was just someone who was sharing her, personal relationship with this guy, and they were together forever. And they, in the beginning of their, vlogs, they were talking about, everyone was like, oh, you guys are so cute together. We love your, relationship. We love you guys. And, from what they seen, about them, that's why they love them. But they would ask, like, when's the ring coming? When's the baby's coming? You guys are living together. When's this and that coming? So at first, it was like, yeah, it's coming soon, and don't worry, it's going to be a surprise, and blah, blah, blah. So I don't know what happened over time, but I think about 5 years later, like they did an updated video and they were like, yeah, you guys keep asking when the ring is coming, this and that. And we decided that we're not getting married. And, that's just never been our thing. And that's never been we decided we'll be better where we are. We're happy and we're this and we're that. And the one thing I thought to myself was just, they're going to break up. And sure enough, they did. Probably about a couple months later, they broke up, and the couple, they split up and they're with two other people. I seen it on social media. They're with two other people. And I was like, wow, I wonder what the breakup was about. And I wonder why that shift in wanting to be married, like what happened where 5 years prior, they wanted to be married and this and that, to now they don't want to be married. And it was like there may have been a difference in how they view commitment, how they view marriage, how they view longevity.
Yeah.
And I think if there was a difference, the best thing they could have done was to separate. The best thing and I mean, they didn't have children. If anything, they probably had a couple of bills together. But even then, if they didn't believe in marriage, then I doubt that they had any bills together, or any major, things where they were going through a divorce, where it felt as though they were going through a divorce. And so they're with two different people now. And the one thing I thought about was just how you might have heard like pastors say this before, but it's like, that wasn't your spouse to begin with. And so I wouldn't even like trip over that because, when you love a thing, you let it go. And so I used to like think on that, and I'm just like, is that true? When you love a thing, like, do you believe that, Dale? When you love a thing, you let it go?
I mean, yeah, I've heard that true love is because allowing to let something go because you can't say that you love somebody and then you hold them hostage. So I just think that if you do love somebody, you're also willing to let them go and be happy with someone else, even if it's not you. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's cool. Thank you for saying that, because I was just thinking about a time where I wanted something really bad. I wanted to be with somebody really bad, but then, that whole situation didn't work out for, a reason that I mentioned in the last or two podcast episodes ago. And, I did things the wrong way. And so, I ended it. Even though I had hopes, I wanted to be married and I had already planned out the whole wedding and everything, right? And so I bring it up because I believe that that person is now engaged or even married. And I'm just like, oh, wow, that could have never been me because I'm married and I'm in love with my husband. And had I held on to the idea that they may come around and they may do this and they may do that and they may, they basically, I was trying to find my worth within them giving me their last name. I was trying to find my worth in that. And it's almost like, the Lord gives you your worth. The Lord gives you that commitment. The Lord gives you his word. So I was like, you know what? Not that I didn't love the person. I didn't, if I'm honest. But it's almost like because I wanted, in my mind, I thought I wanted that so bad that at the time I started planning our wedding, right? And it's like, I don't even love Alabama, right? But then I seen that they were with, that they gotten engaged. And I was like, wow, I'm actually truly happy that they were able to find their one, if that is their one. But assuming that it is, if they are married now, I don't know. I didn't follow up. I'm not following it. But assuming that they are married now, it's just like, how I could have stood in the way of me even finding my own spouse that the Lord has designed specifically for me. I've always heard someone talk about snowflakes. Look how much detail the Lord puts into snowflakes. And you don't think that he would put that much detail into bringing a spouse to you who is designed for you? You know what I'm saying? And so we hold on to the hopes that this one person over there that's not even your spouse, that's not even meant to be with you, we're holding on to that hope that they would just like give us their hearts, and they don't want to.
Yeah.
The Lord has hardened their heart towards us, and we don't turn away, and we suffer through that ourselves. So that's long suffering, but that's self-inflicted long suffering.
I mean, self-deception as well. I mean, can't even say that it's self-deception, because I mean, if someone's telling you that with their actions that they don't want to be married, and you're still, you're still staying there with the hopes that one day you'll get married, and at that point, I think it's just stubbornness. It's a stubbornness, Kind of reminds me of with a story with Pharaoh and Moses, with everything that the plagues that God allowed happen to Egypt, just so Pharaoh could let his people go. And Pharaoh refused to do it. It was just stubbornness. And the Bible does say that God hardened Pharaoh's heart. But I just feel like at some point it becomes a form of an ignorant stubbornness, because it's like, well, it's clear by their actions that that's not what they want. It's funny because human beings are the only beings that God created that will try to force somebody to do something that they don't want to do. And the Bible talks about God, that God doesn't even force, even though God has the power to. God doesn't even force us to do some things that we want to do. He don't force us, But we try to force someone to do something they don't want to do. Oh, I'm gonna force you to marry me. I'm gonna force you to have sex with me. I'm gonna force you to give me a pay raise. I'm gonna force you to find worth and value in me. No, you're not. So it's just interesting when you think about the mentality in the driving force in people, in human beings as a species. But without further ado, definitely enjoyed the conversation on today. Please go back and check out 1, 2, and 3 of the series. And until next time, definitely check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and anywhere where podcasts can be found. You can definitely find our podcast there, even on the podcast app.
You pressed.
Until next time, peace.